traveled and preached the gospel to the best of my ability for more than 41 years. I have visited every state in the United States, and I've also gone to Mexico and Canada. Naturally, I have heard people from every walk of life on different subjects, some of which were very interesting. I have heard presidents and ex-presidents of the United States, the leading ministers and evangelists of modern days, and even the world's greatest infidel, Bob Ingersoll, Eugene Debs, one of the world's greatest atheists. I shook hands with President William McKinley when I was only a small boy, and with the exception of President Woodrow Wilson and Calvin Coolidge, I have shaken hands with every president down to the present time. Of all the discussions I have heard in my life, none has ever interested me more than the discussions of what will become of the Church of God in Christ when our great leader, Senior Bishop C.H. Mason, goes to receive his great reward in heaven. I can only speak my honest opinion, and the future will reveal whether my prediction will come true. When our bishop is called to his reward, the Church of God will continue until Jesus comes. But the successful guiding hand of Senior Bishop Mason would be sorely missed. No doubt, like in all other denominations, where their leaders died, there were splits in the church, and the core of bishops or state overseers could never hold the Church of God in Christ together unless we had a senior bishop who has the spirit, the wisdom, and the foresight of our leader, Bishop C.H. Mason, or who comes as nearly up to his standards as possible. In my travels over the country, some will mention one who has the Mason spirit, and others will mention another. Several have spoken of Bishop W.M. Roberts of Chicago, some of State Overseer Taylor of Phoenix, Arizona. Some have said Bishop Samuel Crouch of Los Angeles, California. But I have heard at least 10-to-1 speakers in favor of Bishop O.T. Jones of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I say 10-to-1 are in favor of Bishop Jones becoming senior bishop and taking up the work of Bishop Mason when he goes to receive his heavenly reward. Yet Bishop Mason may outlive Bishop Jones, Bishop Roberts, Overseer Taylor, and myself. But I am merely speaking the opinion expressed by the majority of people, and that is if Bishop Jones should outlive our beloved Bishop Mason. Only God in heaven knows what I am speaking of. No doubt this article will bring about many discussions, and that I will be criticized by some for these remarks. Nevertheless, I will back up what I say, that where there are two heads, there is constantly more or less division. We now have one head for the Church of God in Christ, and have had only one head since 1895. And that head deserves the credit for the growth, love, and harmony that has prevailed in the church under his leadership, because he has always been led of God in all his doings and sayings. In the year 1936, 1 year after I was ordained in the Church of God in Christ, my friend Tip Parker, a banjoist, and myself were at the home of former President Herbert Hoover. I had the privilege of telling President Hoover of our church under the leadership of Senior Bishop Mason. I am not the wisest man in the world, neither am I the biggest fool in the world, but I cannot help but believe with all my heart, if Bishop O.T. Jones should be living when Senior Bishop Mason goes to his heavenly reward, that Bishop O.T. Jones could and would, if the honor were bestowed upon him, lead the Church of God in Christ on to victory as Bishop Jones stands next to Bishop Mason as a gospel preacher and is a natural-born leader and knows how to handle the masters of people. I have been personally acquainted with Bishop Jones for the past 13 years. I have secured his photograph, and no one knows what I am going to say about him, except the stenographer to whom I am dictating. Bishop O.T. Jones is the greatest gospel preacher living in the world today. He is a scholar, he is a man of experience, wonderful voice, and from the time he rises to speak until he finishes his message, thousands and thousands of listeners sit spellbound. Bishop O.T. Jones is a natural-born leader, a great observer of humanity. He is loved from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf. And had he been a white man and played politics, no doubt he would have been President of the United States years ago. While he is not of the Caucasian race, thousands and thousands of the whites follow his philosophy, the same as the Negroes. Bishop Jones has always been honest with his church, which is the Church of God in Christ, and has been a most loyal supporter of Bishop C.H. Mason, and is greatly admired and respected by all with whom he comes in contact. It is said by people all over the United States that Bishop O.T. Jones comes nearer having the spirit of our chief apostle, Senior Bishop C.H. Mason, than any other minister in the Brotherhood. If this is true, and I do not doubt it, he could lead millions of people from conquest to victory. The church of which Bishop Jones is pastor is second to none in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Years later, in 1962, Bishop O.T. Jones Sr. went on to become the next senior bishop after Bishop Mason had passed away. And a year later, Pastor Delk passed away in 1963.
He walks with me, I can't do it alone. He walks with me, I can't do it alone. He walks with me, I can't do it alone. He walks with me, I can't do it alone. He walks with me, I can't do it alone. He walks with me, I can't do it alone. He walks with me, I can't do it alone. He walks with me, never alone, never alone. He walks with me.